y bienvenidos a la Daily Hustle. Soy Enrique Byrnes y presidente de su mejor cerveza. No Abate Porno Filter Network. Miguelito Sandiguito, not with us today. Will the Thrill Clark, not with us today, but he will be with us tomorrow evening. Regardless, we come on here each and every single morning and we properly salute our boys and, well, each and every one of you. Yes, 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 yes. Woo! Remember this, folks? When we are juiceful, we are useful, and when we are juiceless, we are fucking useless. A very pleasant good morning to you on the 17th day of 2024. Today's Daily Hustle title: Living, Learning, Loving, and Laughing with Life. Buenos dias. Today is Monday, June 17, 2024. With yesterday being Father's Day, I hopped on my footboard in the morning, wrote down my gratitudes, and began searching for a new quote to fire up on the family vision board. Typically, I will find quotes relevant to life happenings in that moment, anywhere from a wide range of books to casual conversations with strangers to something that was carved into the wall above a public restroom urinal. I am unapologetic and opportunistic. I am an unapologetic and opportunistic quote collector that doesn't take a second off. And through the years now, I have hundreds, if not thousands, typed into the notes section of my iPhone. The one common theme of all of the phrases that have been etched or uttered over time is that they are words of impact that have the potential to positively influence all of our lives by offering golden nuggets of wisdom, giving us the proper ammunition and fuel to make our next decision. That's important. Think about life. It's choices, it's decisions, right? So how do we put ourselves in the absolute best position to make that best decision? That's it. Okay, back to the email. On the table where the family vision board sits, amongst other significant items, including a couple of Emmys and a Western States silver belt buckle, is a card that we handed out at my dad's service. On the front of the card is a picture of my dad up in Tahoe, out in the snow with his wings spread wide open and a shit-eating grin on his face. Beneath the picture are the words living, learning, loving, and laughing with life. It's been a long time since I actually opened the card, but yesterday seemed like the appropriate time to dive in. Just days before my dad passed, I went to see him, and when I walked in, he was rapidly banging away on his iPad keyboard as if he somehow knew his time was limited. Me, dude, are you speed writing a book? Dad, yup, don't let the music die inside you. A couple days later, he unexpectedly passed, and what was left behind beyond the lifetime of experiences and lessons was a scattered, unfinished, unedited manifesto of fucking brilliance that has undoubtedly been a huge inspiration in my life, as well as the entire creation of the Daily Hustle. In my humble opinion, here are three simple Jim Byrnes Father's Day reminders we can all apply to our lives immediately. And if we are able to apply appropriately, we will all be much better off for it. Number one, let your behavior reflect your commitment. I can't hear what you are saying because I'm too busy watching what you are doing. Number two, don't take your feelings personally. Observe how you feel, but understand that feelings, both good and bad, are fleeting and always a beautiful reminder that we are still alive. Number three, failure is directional. Be intimate and vulnerable with those that can help us make necessary adjustments. The guidance always lies within the challenges. Be grateful for them. EB. Okay, so there it is. Today's Daily Hustle. It was cool to read that because I still think that there's so much more. And I remember when my sister made up the cards. Actually, I should have brought it up here, but it's downstairs. I was a little disappointed because it didn't have more. And I'd have to go back now, and there was an email that my dad sent to both my sister and I, and about that same time period that, keep forever. And it's just, there were so many awesome pieces of advice, of guidance that, look, a lot of this stuff is all stuff that he instilled in us when we were growing up, him and my mother. But I also think that, like anything in life, you have to revisit it. You have to go back to it. You have to continue to ingrain all of that. And don't let the music die inside you. I went back and looked. I was almost positive it was Wayne Dyer that said it. And it was, I guess there's other people have been attributed to this quote too. So it doesn't really fucking matter. The bottom line is, I think one of our responsibilities as human beings is to try to do everything we can to leave this world better than we found it, people, places, and things. And you don't want to die with the music left inside of you. You want to do everything you can in your power to get it out, to share it, to let people know, let people learn, let people understand, let people take it for what they want to take it. And you don't know when that impact might happen. Because then I thought about this too yesterday on Father's Day. And every time it's my dad's birthday or Father's Day comes around, it's certainly a time of reflection. I think as the years go on, you probably feel a little more distant. Maybe you don't feel, I don't know if it's as inspired to share a lot of the things, because that's not it. I do feel that, now I'm at a point where going through that loss and losing a parent, losing a loved one, it's fucking devastating. Time heals, and then you hold on to the positive memories and the great lessons and everything else. One of my buddy's dads just passed away recently. It was Tony Valent. Like, Eric and Royce were my roommates at UCLA. Eric was first round draft pick, played in the big leagues a little bit with the Phillies, with the Mets, actually hit for the cycle, I think was when he was with the Mets. Just awesome family, awesome dude, incredible father. Tony was Vietnam vet. And I know there's no words I can really say that can help much. It's just sometimes you just got to be there and you got to listen and everything. And then going through this experience, I mean, it's been 12, 13 years now where, now I see my other friends and other friends I have within the past decade, have to go through it. It's not easy at all. But I do think that the one thing is that there's certain days where it's important to go back. And I think in some ways, we, at least I feel like I do to my dad, have a responsibility to share these things. And what's cool is that there's so much more. It's like, okay, today's Daily Hustle was today's Daily Hustles. And this was, here are 3 things that I pulled out. But it goes so far beyond that. And so in a lot of ways, and I know it helped me, you're not just living for yourself anymore. You're literally living to carry on the spirit and the lessons that somebody, instilled, with so much passion into my life. And so now if I'm able to pass that on to my children and to the kids that I coach, that's what matters. That is essentially everything. So anyhow, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, and happy Monday to everybody as well. The Daily Hustle for today is going to be short. I only have a couple minutes, 10 a.m. pickleball session. But to go ahead and go over one of the things I wanted to get into for Father's Day is the greatest father-son duos of all time. So these were ranked by MLB.com. And the way they did it was WAR. So the combined WAR of the father and son. Let's do the countdown now. Number 11, Cecil Fielder and Prince Fielder. Both father and son were imposing, powerful sluggers. Both amazingly finished with exactly 319 career home runs. That is fucking wild. Think about that. Cecil placed second in the American League MVP race with the Tigers in both 1990 and 1991 when he walloped a combined 95 home runs and drove in 265. Prince reached a 50 homer mark himself in 2007, was even more accomplished hitter than his father was, with a career 134 OPS plus. Unfortunately, a neck injury forced him into retirement at age 32. That was tough. He was so gosh damn good. Yeah, Prince ended up with a 23.8 career WAR, Cecil 17.2. Dizzy Trout and Steve Trout were, let's see here, at number 10. It says, while there's no relation to Mike Trout, these two did plenty well. How about Dizzy Trout? 50 WAR. Holy cow. He spent 15 years, his 15-year career with the Tigers, and pitched more than 500 games. Two-time All-Star, finished an AL MVP runner-up to teammate Hal Newhouser in 1944 when he led the AL in starts with 40, 33 complete games. Think about that. 40 starts in 33 complete games. Incredible. So Dizzy and Steve Trout. Steve was a 13.4 WAR player. Let's see. Dizzy helped Detroit win a World Series victory over the Cubs. For his part, Steve was the 8th overall pick in 1976 by the White Sox and started more than 200 big league games over his 12 seasons. You have Sandy Alomar and Roberto Alomar. Let's see. Sandy Alomar was a 10.5 WAR player. Roberto Alomar, 67.0. How about Gus Bell and Buddy Bell? How about Buddy Bell with a 66.4 WAR? Jose Cruz and Jose Cruz Jr. I didn't realize Jose Cruz was that good. 54.4 WAR. I mean, these are all borderline Hall of Fame WAR numbers. Jose Cruz Jr. was at 19.6. Mel Stoudemire and Todd Stoudemire, 43.1 and 22.9. Good for Todd. I had a feeling Mel was up there. Todd, I didn't realize was so high. Ray Boone and Bob Boone. I mean, what about Brett Boone and Aaron Boone? You could throw them on the list too. Ray Boone was 25.8. Bob Boone, 27.4. Vladimir Guerrero and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. This is impressive because Jr. is still going. So they can only climb up this list. Yeah, Vladimir Guerrero, 59.5 on the WAR list, and this guy's a Hall of Famer. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is at 16.8. Felipe Alou and Moises Alou, 42.2 and 39.9. You think Felipe talks shit to Moises? Well, he can. You're on the right. Father over son. And number 2 on the list, to no surprise, Ken Griffey Sr. and Ken Griffey Jr. Ken Griffey Sr.'s WAR was 34.5 and Jr.'s 83.8. The pair actually played together with the 1990-1991 Mariners famously smacking back-to-back home runs against the Angels on September 14th, 1990. At the time, Griffey Sr. was finishing up a 19-year career that included 3 All-Star collections and a pair of World Series rings with the Big Red Machine. While he was more steady than spectacular, logging an OPS plus between 96 and 129 in 14 seasons, his son was a mega superstar with 630 home runs, 10 Gold Glove awards. Griffey Jr. cruised into Cooperstown. And number 1 on the list, and it's not even fucking close, Bobby Bonds and Barry. Bobby at a 57.8 WAR. So essentially the same as Vladimir Guerrero Jr. The argument then becomes, how is Bobby Bonds not in the Hall of Fame? And then Barry at 162.8, still not in the Hall of Fame. Incredible. No player in MLB history has racked up more WAR as a position player than Barry, a 7-time MVP award winner who owns a single season and career home run records and pretty much rewrote baseball in the early 2000s. Only allegations of performance-enhancing drug use have kept him waiting on Cooperstown. And while Barry overshadows his father, Bobby shouldn't be underrated. The Bondses are the only 2 players in history to combine with at least 300 career home runs with at least 400 steals, as well as the only 2 to go 2020, ready for this, in 10 different seasons. Fucking incredible. Barry and Bobby Bonds. So let's look at the numbers here. Ken Griffey Jr., right, legitimate first ballot Hall of Famer, and Ken Griffey Sr., their combined WAR is 117. Bobby Bonds and Barry Bonds combined WAR, if my math is correct here, is 219. So more than 100 games better than number 2, who happen to be the Griffies. That's how much fucking better the Bondses were than anybody else. Incredible. So happy Father's Day, everyone. Have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic week. Hitting the road tomorrow. I go to the HMB. From there, we go to East Cobb, and we'll be there for the PG World Series starting towards the end of this week. So I will certainly be doing a couple daily hustles along the way, and we will get in a deuce as well tomorrow night. That show coming to you from Half Moon Bay. And buenos dias. Let's see here. I don't know where my chat thing is. John Davis, good morning. Collierville, Tennessee. John, stay cool out there. I know heat waves hitting the East Coast. So looking forward to getting out there in the dirty South, man. I've always enjoyed that place. All right. We'll see everyone tomorrow. Deuces Wild. See ya.